Hi, my name is Sam. I'm a freelancer in the TV industry, currently working as an assistant producer, recently stepping up from researcher. I am based in West London. So every job in the TV industry varies show to show that you're working on. So my role as an assistant producer will vary job to job. Now, I am currently working on comic relief for the BBC, so I'm doing predominantly things involving the studio part of our show. So coming up with item ideas for the programme. An item is a segment of a show. Clearing music, finding props, costumes, things like that. But every single job is different. So I've spent the last sort of 2.5 years as a researcher in the TV industry. Now, when I was a researcher, I worked on a whole variety of different shows, and my job changed from show to show. It just depends on the kind of show you're working on. Researchers and assistant producers do a very, very similar job. It's just a progression from researcher to assistant producer based on the experience you've had. Now, when I was a researcher, I did a lot of games and task-based shows. So I worked on programs such as Big Brother, Supermarket Sweep, The Apprentice. On all of these shows, I did games and task-based roles. So on The Apprentice, I helped to come up with the tasks for the show, which I tested and we came up with in a development team, which we would then pitch and then make sure they worked for the show. When I worked on Supermarket Sweep for ITV2, I was on the games team, so I helped to come up with the games for the show, which we tested as a team in the office, and then we did various run-throughs to make sure they worked for the programme. But I've also worked on lots of different programmes. I've worked on The Chase. On The Chase, I was a casting researcher and a studio researcher, so I helped to cast the contestants for the programme, and then I was at the studio looking after the contestants and making sure everything ran smoothly on the floor. So most of my background is in tasks and games, but I've done a lot of work on location as well. So over the last few years, I've worked on the relief shows for the BBC, such as Children in Need, The Big Night In, Comic Relief, and Sport Relief. Now on these shows, my main role is helping to set up the VTs and the location shoot. So I'll help to find locations, source props, cast extras, cast contributors, just make sure everything is ready ahead of the filming on location for the VT. And this will involve me working very closely with a producer and a PD. Now, a PD is a producer director. Their role predominantly on location is to organise the shoot, to direct the cast, to direct the crew, to make sure everything is in order. They are the main sort of contact on location. In TV, you have the editorial side and the production side. The editorial side, the PDs, producers, researchers, assistant producers, that's the kind of creative side of the industry. Production side is the sort of logistics and coordinating things. Production are the backbone of every single TV show. You can't make a show without production. They are in charge of the money, they hire people, they're in charge of health and safety and risk assessments and things like that. I've been in the television industry for nearly 6 years, so I've kind of spanned quite a lot, mainly factual entertainment and entertainment shows, but I've done a bit of reality as well. I worked on Teen Mum for a while, at Supermarket Sweep as mentioned. I did the X Factor Celebrity Special the other year. On that, I was predominantly looking after the celebrities for the show, making sure they're ready for rehearsals, and they knew everything that was coming up for the Saturday show. For me, the best thing about working in TV is meeting new people. Every single job you meet new people, and it's such a thriving, busy and like exciting industry where you're always out socialising, going to events, going out and about. Oh, and being on location. I love location. Just being on set is so much fun. A mistake I made at the start of my career when I was a runner, and I was a runner for 3 years. It's important to know that in your career, most people start out as runners for sort of 1, 2, 3 years, and it's the best way to get into the industry, and it's so much fun. If you are new to the industry or haven't started, try not to skip the runner stage. It is the best part, and that's how you meet everyone. And you know, sort of 6 years on, I still call on people I met when I was a runner to help me out for work. But a mistake I made when I started out in the industry was not saying no to things. That might sound quite generic, but it's very easy to burn out in this industry because you can get caught in the job-to-job nature where you literally can go a whole year and you've not had any time off. And when you're a runner, it's especially hard to say no to things. And obviously, I understand some people will struggle with that because of financial reasons. But if you can take a break in between jobs, I'd say that's so important because it's easy to burn out and it will affect your sort of working day and it will affect how you work if you don't take a break. Mental health is really important, and that's something I really did neglect when I started out in the industry. But with a bit of experience and age, I now understand how important it is to say no and to stop sometimes. I could have really benefited from Creative Train when I started out in the industry because I could have really done with a hand with my CV. I believe that Creative Train would have really helped me format my CV so it's suitable for the TV industry. Now, CVs in the TV industry are very tailored. They're not usual CVs. They're quite they're quite basic, but they really say what they, they're very clear and concise. They don't have lots of unnecessary jargon on them. It's just each credit of each show you've worked on, your job. It was something I just had to learn on the job. People telling me when I was in interviews, I'll maybe change this on your CV. This is how it should look. So that's something I could have really benefited from. I got into the TV industry through a scheme run by PACT. It was called the Indie Diversity Scheme, which I was a part of in 2015, and I was an intern at a production company called Optimum for 6 months. I came from a working class background and I didn't have any links into the TV industry. As a new entrant, I wish I'd known about all the different resources that are available to you when you're not working, and lots of things you can learn in your spare time if you want to. There's a great website called Screen Skills, which run lots of amazing courses. They do producers workshops, camera workshops, editing workshops. There's loads you can learn, and they always run lots of free courses, as do BAFTA, who have lots of amazing webinars with different creatives in the industry.